So, Will, are you ready for our
I'm
first
absolutely ready.
main topic of the evening?
Yes, let's do it. I'm full
All
of
right, let's do
basmati
it.
rice, so let's do
Yeah,
it.
full to the brim.
Yeah.
All the way. Okay, this is a classic. It's an absolute classic, but I'm going to put a little bit of a spin on it. Seamless versus exposed joint. So I said, is seamless back? But what I mean is it back in a new way? Just as I said that, I'm pretty sure the doorbell is about to go because my dogs are popping off downstairs. Shang-Chi is coming today. So
Dude, nice.
if the doorbell goes, I
I'm
apologize.
gonna need you to let me know about the
I'll open
packs.
it right if it comes now. I will
Because
open it right now, and we'll talk about it here on the stream quickly,
okay.
briefly. We'll talk about my thoughts. Um, anyway, I haven't heard the doorbell yet, so maybe they were just barking for no reason. Is Seamless back? So Seamless can mean a couple of different things, and I'm going to go through, or we're going to go through the different styles and reasons why Seamless. The doorbell is going. Will, hold down the fort. I'll be
Yes,
back
I
in a
will.
second.
Because guys, seamless forearms, this is the question that we're now talking about, right? Because look, we're getting third-party companies that are doing things like Limb Toys, for example. Limb Toys, for example, with the Nathan Drake doing seamless forearms. But now we have all these companies that are not willing to do this, right? Like Hot Toys, for example. Hot Toys, we see Shang-Chi has wrist joints. Why does that happen, right? There's so many figures like that where visible joints are a thing. Even Gore the God Butcher. Why does Gore not have a swappable set of articulated arms that you can swap onto the body? Justin, is it Shang-Chi?
Yes, sir. It is Shang-Chi. We will open Shang-Chi, as I promised. We will open Shang-Chi, the Q&A segment at the end after the main topics. I promise.
I was introducing
I'm
the
panting
people
because I
to, I
ran
was complaining
downstairs.
about Gore the God Butcher again.
I heard
So,
it, of course.
did you hear the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
But Will is 100% right. I mean, there are multiple reasons why exposed joints happen and seamless should happen. But we're seeing companies do different things, like you said, Limb Toys with Nathan Drake.
Yep.
Hot Toys have decided to try the seamless forearm thing. I don't think they've announced any other figures with this yet, right? No.
No. Joel is going to have it, though. They've already said that Joel from Last of Us is going to have it in March, which is coming up in like a week. So we shall see.
We
But
shall
dude,
see.
doesn't Worldbox put out that seamless forearm set? So
Yes.
I saw there's a reviewer who did the Shang-Chi review and he put the arms on Shang-Chi. It doesn't really fit super well, but it looked halfway decent.
I have some of those forearms, so I might give it a go too, actually. I might give it a try, but they look quite long, is the issue when you
Yeah,
put
they
them
do.
on the body.
They do.
They look a little bit long. But anyway, the styles of seamless, back in the day, if we mentioned this topic, it would be literally silicon or rubber arms or jointed arms. That was it.
Yep.
Those were the two different camps you could be in, fully seamless or fully jointed. But now we're seeing completely different styles of seamless, like the sculpted forearms, hard sculpted plastic, no articulation. Because Hot Toys know that if Wolverine has his claws out, 99% of the time, he's going to be wrist facing in, ready to jump, ready to claw, swipe, slash, whatever. So they've done the pre-pose, but they're also giving you jointed wrist pegs, so you have both options. So now what we're seeing is more options. To put in perspective, back in the day, we're going to do a bit of a compare and contrast, because this was Bane 1.0 with sculpted arms, and we want to discuss what looks better.
Look at the body, dude. It's crazy to look at that now. And when you look at it today, what it looks like, this looks really bad. By today's standards.
No, Will, even back then. Because it wasn't just the visible joints that were an issue. Also, because the joints are visible, you couldn't do double bend elbows because it would have looked so ugly. So he can't do the pose, the iconic pose. But they upgraded to seamless for the new one.
Yeah.
Multiple reasons why this worked. Bulk, skin texture, no joints, obviously, that's a gimme, and articulation, although there is one trade-off. Potential longevity, cracking, degrading, etc. So my question is, Hot Toys has always been about realism. If you're wanting maximum articulation, maximum posability, there are other options. Figuarts, Mayfex, Beast Kingdom makes 8-inch figures. multiverse, whatever else you want. There are so many other options that focus solely on articulation. Amazing Yamaguchi, that's a company that just focuses on articulation. So I've always found it interesting when folks approach Hot Toys, they've come from those other brands, and they say, okay, well, my focus is articulation. I don't care about how it looks. I want maximum articulation. And then Hot Toys don't really fit that bill because their whole thing has always been realism. Is it worth the trade-off going seamless and going full realism for articulation? As in, you're losing it, but you're also kind of gaining it with this guy, but then the longevity issue. So it's a multi-layered issue. Will, I'm going to hand it over to you. This Bane, obviously visually it's an upgrade, but does the longevity thing bother you?
No, absolutely. Well, longevity is important as far as like we're talking about pleather, right? And I don't want to sound hypocritical.
And silicon.
Right? Because I do like longevity. I do feel that matters. But at the end of the day, I think realism is the most important thing. And I think when as so far as with leather is concerned, with leather you can make it as realistic. You actually make it more realistic by having real leather, and then you also have longevity as well. So it's a win-win. As far as this is concerned, I will always take realism over posability any day of the week. And maybe this is because Justin, we both also collect statues. And to me, posing is decent enough. I don't love posing though. It's a means to an end to me. Like posing to me is to get the figure to look good on the shelf. That's really the only reason I do it. I don't really like engaging with the figure that much. Besides, I get it in a pose I really like. Every once in a while, if I'm feeling a little bit inspired, I'm like, it's kind of stale. I want to change it a bit. I'll change it. And that's great. But I really don't want to sit there posing the figure all day. I want it to look good on the shelf and represent the thing as lifelike and realistic as possible, and then move on. That's kind of what I want to do. I like posing, like I said, moderately, but I would much prefer realism. As far as seamless goes, I love how Hot Toys did this. The only thing that I could say is that wrist peg, but I don't know how you fix that.
I knew you were going to say it.
I don't know how you fix that because if you have one seamless arm on the right and then you swapped in maybe an articulated one, that non-articulated, I don't know how you would do it. And this is a full body. So this is a full seamless body. So I don't know that there would have been a way to do this. It's short of it being a full seamless arm. And at that point, you'd be able to pose it a little bit, but at that point, you're putting stress on it. So it could tear at that point. So that's, to me, where I feel like they probably did the best they could with this, just due to how Bane's costume is. So to me, I love how this figure came out. Hot Toys did not half-ass this one at all, and I love that.
At
the end of the day, yeah, they whole-assed it, dude. 100% whole-assed it. And I would say, Justin, that I'm always going to take realism because that is the reason that I buy Hot Toys. I don't buy Hot Toys because I'm like, oh, these are so posable and so articulated. I buy them because they look realistic. And I buy them because they represent something I love on the shelf in a very ultra-realistic way. For the longest time, the most realistic way. Now they have competition that's kind of pushing them a bit, but that's why I buy these. I buy these because I love the character and they look super realistic. So anything that detracts from realism, I think should be eliminated at all costs. That's what I would say.
Okay, and Ken Carpenter agrees with you. I'm on Howard Chan's side and Will's side. All I care about is looking as real as possible, standing in my collection. I'm also there with you. That was the whole reason. Like, if I go back to why I started collecting,
right?
Because I did not believe what I was seeing in the pictures was a thing that I could own. I was a lot younger, obviously, and now we know we can pick a figure photo from a mile away. But back then, I was like, whoa, really? That's a figure? That's something that I can put in my display? I did not believe it. That's what I was chasing. I was chasing basically like a mini representation of that suit, that character, to put in my display. And for the longest time, I'd never seen anything that realistic. So I wasn't collecting anything. But when I first saw, I think it was DX02, and now obviously we have DX19, but we had DX02 back in the day. That thing blew my mind. And that was rubbery, seamless stuff too. Yeah. So we have now discussed two different styles of seamless. The first one, sculpted forearms, which is making waves. The second is a fully seamless silicon or rubber body. Thanos is where it gets interesting, because this is when they gave us options, which is the third option when it comes to seamless. So this was the first Thanos, and this is another compare and contrast situation. This was from Guardians of the Galaxy. I really like the look of this Thanos. This armor was sick, but he did have exposed elbow joints, very visibly so. They were unpainted, untextured, blue plastic, and there's texture surrounding them. Quite ugly. I mean, you can see it on the right side, especially. The big blue shiny piece of plastic.
Why did
And
they do
then
that? Why did they do
I
that?
actually don't know. They could have textured it at
Yeah,
least and
or put it
sunken it
underneath the
in.
armor or something. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hmm. I don't know why they did that, Hot Toys. Why did you? But for the next Thanos, we had Infinity War Thanos, and this is the
Yeah.
next style of seamless is what I like to call options. So they have the arms with joints in them and rubbery, plasticky silicon stuff over the top, but they also, because they know they're not stupid, they know that if you keep that arm bent, it's going to crack because it's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress on that material. They gave you a pre-posed arm that was permanently bent. That is a huge win, but this was the last time they ever did this. Why?
I don't understand. This is great. I have literally that Thanos arm on my Thanos right now.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
like
too.
it's beautiful. This to me, this is the Thanos to own. I know people might think I'm crazy. This is the Thanos that won. I love this look. I love the armored look too. But Justin, you and I have been calling for this for a while, dude. Like with Gore the God Butcher, how difficult would that have been to give him like a Thanos type of arm, where maybe he's just a relaxed hand or something in the left arm, and then on the right hand, maybe you have him a sword holding hand and like non-articulated. That's all you need, bro. Like that's it. Like I don't know why they could do it with Thanos, but no one else, and they never did it again because this was an amazing inclusion. Because if they didn't include this, everyone would have complained. So, yeah.
I don't know why they've never tried it again. Like you said with Gore, Will, you don't even have to what I'm saying is not that it has to have seamless, fully jointed, articulated arms as well as jointed. No. What I'm saying is like Thanos, this arm cannot be posed. It's static. You
Yep.
can move it at the shoulder, obviously, but you can't unbend the bicep, the elbow. It's permanently like that. They should have done that with Gore, a sword holding set of arms with no seams, but they also give you jointed. If they were going to do jointed anyway, it's not like I'm not saying that if you were always planning on making something seamless, give us jointed arms so we can go crazy with the posing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the reverse. If you were planning on going jointed anyway, for posing or for longevity, or because you couldn't do the scars, just throw in some fully sculpted. It'll be one piece of plastic, one
Yep.
single mold with a ball joint up top. We're not asking for 10,000 part count on a brand new set of seamless arms with multiple joints on the inside. No, pre-sculpted, which is exactly what Damn Toys did with their Resident Evil 2 Claire Redfield. By the way, she just came out yesterday, so people
Nice.
will start getting this now. This is the first time I've ever seen this. Fully static legs, straight up and down if you want to have her in just a walking pose or a natural neutral pose. But you also have the Harley Quinn style jointed legs with ugly kneecaps. And they swap out with ball joints at the hips. This is the next style. Full limbs, fully sculpted, swap out with the jointed ones. So there are so many different styles of seamless limbs now that if you're making a figure, there's not really a reason why seamless, if there's skin exposed, is not an option, even if it's tattooed, even if it's got scars, even if it's got prints on the surface, even if it's blue or green. It doesn't really matter because you can do stuff like this. Will, is this something that you think that more companies should be investigating, the fully static limbs like Thanos and Claire Redfield?
Dude, 100% Justin. And I think we've both talked about this. I don't know how expensive this would really be. And even if it were, if it adds $15 to the cost, look, so be it. Because at the end of the day, you have more options. So for the people who want to pose the figure, they can absolutely do that because you have a normal visible joint pair of articulated arms or legs or whatever the case may be. And then you also satisfy the more realism based crowd, which is honestly the primary demographic for Hot Toys. And then at that point, you satisfy them and you give us the realism we're looking for. Because again, I keep coming back to Gore because I think he's the most relevant recent example where you look at this and say the head sculpt is great, the tailoring is great, but those arms kill the entire figure. And it just seems like a very odd choice for Hot Toys, who's supposed to be the industry leader and the industry standard and makes such good things, that they are unwilling to do that. I'm not sure what is going on behind the scenes that makes them unwilling to, but it just seems like when damn toys or third party companies are doing this type of thing and the industry leader is not doing them, it just seems unusual. So I don't know. I think they should do it for anyone that has this, and like the Avatar, the Na'vi. Same thing.
Yes.
Like, why do they not have it? Same thing. It doesn't, and again, doesn't have to be seamless. If it's too difficult to do seamless because they're blue with tattoos or scars or whatever, are non-articulated. That's all you need.
Yep. I'm 100% in agreement there. Mark51's Collectibles channel member, thank you so much, Mark, says something interesting about the Bane. Because like we've been saying, third-party companies are trying this stuff. He says, I don't know if I'll pick up this Bane. Because I did the TB League body thing with Bane and a kit. And that's very much what Hot Toys is trying to do. Absolutely. But where Hot Toys kind of win is he's got the scar. I know not a huge deal because it's on the back, but he's got the scar. You need to have it. It's Bane.
It looks amazing. Yeah.
And the skin texture, I think, looks a little bit better than Fison. Fison's very smooth and a little bit tan. Whereas the Hot Toys one, new head sculpt, moving eyes, right? I think it's got moving eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the Hot Toys one still takes the win for me. But to answer this question, is Seamless back? RIP exposed joint? I think it's back in a big way. I think it's not just back in the day how it was silicon-covered arms and jointed arms and that's it. You've got so many different options now. There's a full gamut of different styles of Seamless. We've got fully sculpted. We've got pre-posed. We've got the silicon. We've also got that rubbery material that Hot Toys use. We've got swap out legs now. I don't think I've ever seen swap out seamless legs before, but I want to see more of it. Like Harley Quinn absolutely should have had these because her legs can pop off, the Suicide Squad one. So seamless, I think it's back in a big way. Hot Toys just needs to realize this. They need to get on the train before it leaves the station.
I feel like it's already left. I mean, because everyone, I think this is starting to happen, and we're going to see it with Limb Toys again with Joel. They're going to give swappable hair pieces and magnetic arms and forearms on, and Art's doing it. So I think it's just a matter of time before Hot Toys is like, we could have done this years ago. Why are we not doing this? I'm sure they've thought about it, but
why are we not?
Yeah,
doing
right.
This ourselves?
Yeah, right. Like, if they could do swappable form, like Shang-Chi, for example, there's really no reason. They literally give you a swappable set of forearms and has the rings on it. They literally give you that, and then they don't give you a set that's without wrist pegs. Like, it seems odd. Seems unusual.
So Hot Toys, before the train leaves the station, get all aboard the seamless train.
Yes.
Because otherwise, you're going to be left behind. Make it happen. Please. In one way or another. All of the ways. We don't care. Just make the damn thing happen because realism, number one.